HaShem. Today we continue with our class Shemoneh Perakim, and today we're going to learn also in the schools of Refuah Shlema, Yaron ben Doris, Yehudis Basara, and Binyamin ben Sarah. Okay, so let's learn. We start with Sefer Chofetz Chaim. Sefer Chofetz Chaim. The big topic is the same, and which is what? Which is public laws of harmful speech. Okay. So, and today's topic, public knowledge but harmful. Public knowledge. Okay. We have seen that it is forbidden to speak in derogatory manner. Even information being conveyed was already known to the listener. This is because the fact that of the speaking negatively is inherently wrong. So there is a separate prohibition to hurt somebody's with his speech, right? So just because everybody knows about it, just because everybody speaks about it, does not make any difference, right? So it is wrong to speak negatively. Conversely, it stands no reason that a non-derogatory but potential harmful statement can be made in the presence of anyone who is already aware of the information, unless the speaker emphasizes some points that the listener may not have realized previously. This is because the statement will not cause of any harm which others would not have come about. Okay, so what is the point? Not clear. So one more time, let's read one more time and explain. Conversely, it stands to reason that a non-derogatory but potentially harmful statement, can be made in the presence of anyone who is already aware of the information. So if he knows it's non-derogatory but potentially harmful, unless the speaker emphasizes some point that the listener may not have realized previously. So I mean, if the speaker repeats the same information, so what is the point? Like, what are you trying to say? Right? That's the thing. Okay. Thus, this is because the statement will not be cause for any harm which otherwise would not have come about. Right? Because it is known. Right? Whatever he says is known, so it's no additional harm. I don't know. On one hand, yes, but some people would be like affected when a lot of people repeat the same information. They say everybody is saying that. Does not make it true, but that's rationale of some people. Rambam takes this step further, stating that that if potentially harmful statement was made in the presence of three people, the three are permitted to relay the information in conversation with others. This is because each of the three can assume that the other two will probably make the information public anyway. However, that would not be permissible if either. So let's go into conditions. But before we go into conditions, so when person speaks in front of the three people, so he assumes and they assume, all of them assume, that it's going to pass around. Okay, so unless of course this person say it is secret, don't tell anybody. Okay, that's a different story. So conditions. So the following condition must be made. Number one of the three is known to be discreet or especially careful regarding the laws of forbidden speech. One of three is known. Okay. Number two. The person's intent in relating the information is to publicize the matter yet further. Okay. According to the Chofetz Chaim, Rambam permits any of the three to repeat the information even if it is derogatory. Okay, but see page 147. I mean, today I don't think we do it, but okay. So let's see, 46 from 96. Okay. Chofetz Chaim fails to find justification for such leniency. Exactly. Furthermore, he discourages reliance on Rambam's opinion with regard to Lashon Hara, spoken in the presence of three. as most commentators seems to disagree with this ruling. Thus, one should never relate derogatory information, even when it was related to the 3 or more listeners. So this rule of 3 or more listeners, it is true, it is mentioned by Rambam, but we try not to rely on it. So, okay, so we stop here. We continue with Shemoneh Perakim. I think today we're supposed to start a new chapter. Chapter number 5. Now a new topic is directing our powers to one goal. Okay, so let's see. So it says, it is fitting for a person to control all the powers of his soul by his thought. As we mentioned in the previous chapter, he should place one goal before his eyes, the comprehension of God, glorified be He, to fulfill the extent of the mortal potential. This means to know God. Okay, to know God. Okay, so let's do the paragraph by paragraph. So this was one paragraph. Let's do from the beginning, and we're going to explain. It is fitting for a person to control all his powers of his soul by the thought. So first of all, the soul is in the brain, right? The soul is not in the heart. Many people think that soul in the heart. No, it's actually in the brain, special part of the brain. Very interesting. So a person has to be rational. So because many times, like whatever is going on around us, it's not rational. Like it's opposite what we would expect, right? But if you know with a rational mind, with rational soul, what is standing behind it, so it's the outlook on a life changes drastically. So you know that who is doing this, right? It's not that person, this person. It's my Father in heaven. So whatever He does for me is good. So I'm good. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Okay. So a person has to control, one more time, all powers of his soul by his thought. So if you think like that, if you push into your conscious from subconscious, right? Like in your with your analytical soul, right? You said that's all from HaShem. That's all good for me. I have to go this direction, the right direction, and what is my goal? My goal, as our sages explained, to get close to HaShem, to attach to HaShem in this world. Do mitzvahs and that's it. Don't worry about all other things. Okay, right? So very interesting. As we mentioned in the previous chapter, right? That's a goal. Meaning, as we said, go in the middle of the road. Try to fix your character trait according to Torah, what Torah demands. No extreme to the left, to the right. Extremes not good. Continue. He should place one goal before his eyes, right? So, I mean, some people, so I just got communication from one of the students. So he asked me again what I'm thinking about that rabbi. This I said I don't have time to watch them. I mean, I asked him many times, did you complete the laws of Shabbos yet? Like, why are you watching all of these other people? And I told him it's Eitzer Hara, like is preventing you from going into one goal. So we have a structure from lesson number 1 to lesson number whatever, right? So you go in a structure, you be Shomer Shabbos. Otherwise, you jumping from one topic to another. You're never going to complete anything, and that's a problem with many people. They cannot concentrate, and when they see like classes like maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. They do not want to watch it. Like, it's too much. They don't have patience, right? That's the problem, right? But a person have to have like goal and go directly to this goal. So what is the goal? One should place one goal. 2 goals you're not going to reach. One goal, there is possibility before his eyes. What was the goal? The comprehension of God. So of course you cannot comprehend God, as Rambam said. If I would comprehend God, I would be Him, of course. But on some level, like at least, how do you comprehend HaShem? As we explained before, you see His logic, like what He expects of us. and how he you learn Torah, his laws, and you comprehend a lot about his ways. Exactly. That's why when you go to Talmid Chacham and you ask a question, and he tells you the answer, and sometimes it does not make sense completely, unless you're very learned, right? It does not make sense. But how does he know? He knows because he learned a lot of Torah. So if you complete all of these books that he says so many times, so you would also know, right? Okay, so a comprehension of God, glorified be He, to fulfill the full extent of the mortal potential. So of course we cannot attach because we have limitation, but to the full extent of mortal potential. This means to know Him. So let's see what is the mortal potential. There is a commentary in Hilchas Yisodei HaTorah 110, where the Rambam explains that there are limits to the mortal ability to comprehend godliness. To comprehend godliness. So okay, we have a limitation. See also Hilchas Melachim 12:5, where Rambam mentioned the comprehension of godliness to the full extent of the mortal potential as consummation of the messianic era. But that's a different level. So when Mashiach is going to come, HaShem is going to be one, as we say, and His name is going to be one. So everybody, the whole picture would be very clear. But it's only after the war, after everything. So, right? It's very interesting. Okay, so I continue. But our goal is to comprehend God. How? Through His Torah. That's the only way. There is no shortcut. Okay. One should direct all his activities. So, new paragraph. Endeavors and even his relaxation toward that goal, to that extent that none of his activities is purposeless. There is that they do not lead to this goal. Okay, so let's read this again and explain that. So this that's why I was shocked yesterday. No, not shocked. I learned before that it's mind-boggling for me. Yesterday when we learned in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch about establishing session, wine drinking session. So it's not the Kitzur in Kitzur's time or in place he lived. It's actually from Rambam. It's from Shulchan Aruch. So that's what people do, right? They did, at least I'm not sure they do now, but they would establish drinking session and sit and drink and talk and for many hours. Okay, drink wine. So let's see. One should direct all his activities, endeavors, and even relaxation toward that goal. So all of the activities a person can go to work, make living, and still do a mitzvah. So how? So you do your work honestly, right? So you in your mind, even though you do whatever you do, doesn't matter. So you can apply the laws of Torah. Right, and all of the endeavors. So I get up, I wash my face, right? Why do I wash my face and brush my teeth? Because I have to talk to my Father in heaven, the King of the Kings. So I have to look appropriately, have to be dressed appropriately. I cannot pray to the Kings of the Kings just wearing just whatever I want, right? It should not even enter my mind to wear something different. Right, so some people would pray in slippers. Okay, would you meet the King of the Kings? Even you pray at home. I'm talking about home, right? Would you meet the King of the Kings, like mayor of your town, wherever? He knocks, you know that he's going to knock at your door at whatever time. Are you going to wear your slippers or are you going to wear shoes? That's the thing, right? So all of the activities, all of the endeavors, and even relaxation toward that goal. So our sages say, how relaxation? I can sleep. How can I serve HaShem while sleeping? And it's Kitzur Shulchan Aruch explains, as we learn in Mishnah Brura also. They explain very, very simply. So you say, HaShem, I'm going to go to sleep, but not to enjoy whatever the sleep, but actually for what? To re-energize, to get some energy, to serve you even better. Right, and some people even listen to classes while they sleep. There's no problem. You can listen to the classes. Even though, like, of course, you do not hear what the speaker is saying, but it does not make any difference because your subconscious, your soul hears, right? It's very interesting. So you saw Hashem in all of the situations, even while as it says, in relaxation. To the extent that none of the activities is purposeless, right? It's not like people say, like, I'm hanging out, like hanging. What do you mean hanging? You're a Jewish person. What do you mean hanging or chilling? Or all of these words, like I like. For me, it's I'm the person is saying I'm waste of time. That's it. I have a waste of life. Okay, there is they do not lead to this goal, right? So nothing in this person's life is purposeless. So, and all of us have to analyze, and sometimes the time of the day, like maybe you're not as concentrated on your goal in life, so or some other time, like that you can concentrate better. So that's what we have to do. We have to analyze the day and work on ourselves. Continue, next paragraph. A person's intent when he eats, drinks, sleeps, engages in sexual relations, wakes, performs activities, and relaxes should be for the sake of physical health. Okay, so you need to do, eat and drink and sleep, all of these things. So for physical health. So otherwise, like how would you able, if you're not healthy, chas v'shalom, physically, how you'll be able to perform the mitzvahs, right? You need to go, you need to do things, right? You would not be able. And plus, if you have pain, how would you be able to concentrate on the Torah learning? Of course, a person a big tzaddik and he can forget about his pain. Yeah, but for simple people, not so simple, right? Not so simple to forget about a pain, an ache, or I don't know, like weakness from this illness, right? Continue, and the extent and the intent of pursue the health should be for his soul will have healthy and whole vessels to use for the study and acquiring the intellectual and ethical virtues. So he will reach the above level. So let's do this sentence again, and we're going to explain, and there is a commentary we're going to check, but it's very, very deep explanation. So let's see. And the intent of the pursuit of the health should be for that of his soul. So some, like many people, they make the health is the prime and the prime goal of life. Like they say, like the biggest blessing in there, like what they would say, you should be healthy. Okay, for some people they should be very, very healthy because they do like positive things in this world. But for other people, it's better for them not to be healthy and be like laying in the hospital with the tube sticking from their nose, right? Otherwise, if they let out the hospital, they going to back to their life, which is full of sins. So it's better for them not to have health. You understand? Right, so but this health, so for example, a person can do sports like for as an exercise, and everybody must exercise, otherwise it's like you're killing your body. Well, whatever you do, you walk, you have like some in your house. Of course, if you go to gym, it has to be like separate, no men and women together, chas v'shalom. It's right, all of this exercise are good, but your goal, it's not to be healthy. The goal is to have for this precious soul to have appropriate vessel. Okay, so and this vessel, right? So you need this appropriate vessel, meaning your body, healthy body, in order to study Torah, right? And just a second, let me read how he says it, and the whole vessels. To use for study and acquire the intellectual and ethical values. Okay, so that he will reach the above goal. So all of this intellectual and ethical values you acquire, and to build up to connect to HaShem. Okay, so otherwise it's impossible. And of course, it's you always have to go on a step by step, right? On spiritual ladder, you cannot jump over the step. So you have to go step by step, slowly, and build yourself up, and eventually, you can reach the highest level. So commentary. The Sichel Diot chapter 3, Rambam also emphasizes that a person's activity should be directed to physical health, and the health should serve as a medium leading to the spiritual development. So it's as we said, not the health to looks good and feels good. No, it's only as a medium to spiritual development. As we said, this person is healthy if he does not have all of these pains, so he can concentrate better on his study or her study, for sure. Continue, next paragraph. In this way, his intent will not be solely for the sake of pleasure. Instead of choosing the tastiest foods and drinks, he will choose those who are the most beneficial for his health. If the result is that the food he chooses are sweet, he will be satisfied. But if they are not sweet, he will not be upset. So it's very interesting. So let's read this paragraph one more time and we're going to explain. So one more time, the body, the health is only, you try to maintain your health only for the purposes to this body to serve your soul. Period. That's it. Okay. In this, and then applies even when you exercise, or when the person exercise or do the works around the house. It's always something to do in the house. Always like chores. Always something to do. Okay. So let's see. In this way, his intent will not be solely for the sake of pleasure. Okay. So commentary. With addition of the word solely, Rambam indicates that he is not critical of pleasure. So there is no problem with pleasure. Right? I mean, if it's in a kosher way, and sometimes a person needs to relax and go to vacation just to be somewhere in the mountains and just watch the nature, the animals and stuff like that. That's normal. If he or she over pressures themselves, right, at work somewhere. So it is normal, but the goal is to go back to the normalcy of the soul. Okay. On the contrary, he maintains, right? He maintains that God has structured the makeup of man's nature in such a manner that the beneficial activities bring about pleasure. Okay. What he criticizes is that activity is carried out for the sake of the pleasure alone. So when a person eats because he likes the food, right? So there are so many restaurants where I live. Like we don't go to restaurants, never ever. But there are so many. Like on one block, like three. I'm talking about kosher restaurants. Like 3, 4, 5, 6. Like normal. Like why do we need so many different types of food? Like people are crazy. They like to eat all of these foods. You understand? So Rambam said that's a problem when you live to eat, right? So you eat, right? So you eat whatever is good for your health, right? If it's sweet, it's sweet. If it's not sweet, so it's not sweet, right? But don't go crazy. Don't spend a lot of time preparing the food and stuff like that. That's too much. So because the food or other pleasures become a goal. But if you eat, for example, you eat good food and you enjoy, there is no problem whatsoever. Please enjoy. Okay, but the goal again is to have healthy body. We're talking about the food and be close to HaShem. That's it. Okay. Instead of choosing tastiest food and drink, he will choose those who are the most beneficial for his health. So if it's I don't know, a little older person, like after 40 or something, so choose less sugar, I guess, right? So because it's good. Sugar is too much. Sugar is not good. Everybody knows that, right? If the result is that the food he chooses is sweet, right, he will be satisfied, right? So if it's a little sweeter, so let it be sweet. If it's like, so his goal is not to have sweet or the way I like it, this way or that way, and I'm going to spend so many hours to get this food, to I don't know, to cook this food, to go to a restaurant and spend so much money. So I have a class today, and one of my Harusas said, I cannot believe he went to somebody's birthday, and he said they spent $200 per person. Like, why would like what? That's a crazy money. Like, what would you eat for $200? I mean, there's so many people who starving, right? So many kids that go to bed hungry. So why would you spend this crazy amount of money? Unfortunately. So of course he was upset because he did not know a place that he invited him. But it's very interesting what people do. Continue. There may be occasions. So new paragraph. When a person, if any questions, so I don't watch the screen, so you can just start speaking, please. If any questions. There may be occasions when a person will seek to eat sweet foods as a therapeutic approach. For example, he has a lost desire for food, and it is necessary to arouse such a craving by eating sweet and tastely seasoned food. Okay. Similarly, if a person is overcome by melancholy, he should endeavor to purge himself of it by listening to the songs and music, strolling through the gardens and magnificent buildings, and frequenting attractive works of art. Okay, so we're going to see all of this. Very interesting. In these activities, his intent should not be for the pleasure per se, but rather for the physical health. And the purpose of attaining physical health is to attain knowledge. So always, whatever we do, we have to keep like the big goal in our mind, right? Okay, so let's do this paragraph. It's very interesting. So you see, Rambam discussed, and Rambam is one of our greatest sages. So they discuss all of the aspect of person character, phases that a person go through, right? In all of the details, and he gives not that just discussed, but he gives very simple advice what to do and what is going to work, right? So the HaShem gave our great sages the knowledge, the inner workings of the soul, how, like, what is going to work, what is not going to work, like a medicine, right? But medicine, it depends on the person. I mean, see here also, like it's not exactly like perfect, like for sure it's going to work, but most likely it's going to work. Okay, so let's see. There may be occasions when the person will seek to eat sweet foods as a therapeutic approach, right? So people don't have appetite, right? For example, he has lost desire for food. That's a big problem. So of course there are many overweighted people on the street, but this problem with people that don't have appetite and they can force themselves. And I knew few people like that. That's like for normal person, like a normal healthy person, always hungry, is almost always hungry. Like if you offer him or to eat, as he would eat, right? Like his snacks. But these few people that I knew, like it was so difficult. It's like unbelievable. They were like forcing themselves to eat. It's so terrible, so terrible. Felt so bad for them. And it is necessary. So 1 second. His appetite, his desire for food, and it's necessary to arouse such a craving by eating sweet and tasty seasoned food. Okay, and tasty seasoned food. So something like unusual. Similarly, if person, so this sweet food, it's not because it is sweet, but because person does not have like appetite. He otherwise he's not going to eat. So it's not like a kid who is acting out. No, it's that's unfortunately some disease or something. Similarly, if a person is overcome by melancholy, so some kind of, I would guess, depression, melancholy, he should endeavor to purge himself of it by listening to the song of music. And music is, songs and music have a very special effect on a person, and it's Vilna Gaon said that's very very close to godliness, the music. So, and how much it can change a person's mood. Like a person was depressed, like I don't know, for a week or something, and then he or she hears this music, this song, and sadly, a person wants to dance, start smiling, and all of these weeks of depression never happened. That's the power of music, right? But is it going to stay? No. Like after a few minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know, 15 minutes, whatever, after the song. So a person is going to go back to his reality, right? Let's say. But the thing is, the music is good, but the person have to build the confidence in HaShem. So when you have a confidence, you can live without the music. I mean, but if person is sick and that's the only thing that he can help him, that's what you must do. Song and music, not for enjoyment, but to cure your body, to help your body to go through this phase. Strolling through the gardens, okay, go outside, fresh air, stroll through the gardens, see the nature and say, it's unbelievable what HaShem created in this world, right? Try to notice all of the beautiful things in nature. Right, through the gardens and magnificent buildings. Also, see what talents. Of course, these buildings were built by people, but just to see the talents that HaShem gave him. Okay, and frequenting attractive works of art. Number 4. Okay. I'm not sure. I'm going to read what it says here, but okay, that's what it says here. All the traditional translation of Rambam's words is as above, meaning a work of arts. Based on Hilchas Teshuvah 8:6, it is possible to render the phrase associating with attractive women. I'm not sure how does it make sense, but okay, we're going to stick to works of art. Okay. In these activities, his intent should not be for pleasure per se. So, as we said before, Rambam explained, there is no problem to derive pleasure. The problem is to make pleasure your goal. That's it. But rather be it for his physical health. So a person is depressed and he cannot function. So do all of these activities. And the purpose of attaining physical health is to attain knowledge. So physical health, not to be healthy so you can go to work and eat more and make more money and go to vacation. No, it's to be healthy, to attain more knowledge. And knowledge is something that can get person, if it's properly applied, it's something that can get a person close to HaShem. Right? So that's a famous question that is asked. One of 613 mitzvahs, you have to love HaShem. So sages say, how can you command somebody feeling? I love somebody or I don't love somebody. How can you tell me to do? You can tell me you have to do Nitalas Yadayim. I understand. You have to tell me I have to say blessing before the food. I have to put tefillin, this and that, like build sukkah. I understand. Bake matzah, eat matzah. I understand all of this. But how can you direct me to love? So they explain. It's very simple. Right? The more you learn about HaShem and what He does for you, so the more you fall in love with HaShem, and it's proper. For example, if you have in a relationship between husband and wife, so it's proper to say to that side what you did for that side, like whatever you did, all of these good things that you did for your wife. Just tell her, and then she appreciates even more. Maybe she did not notice some things, right? Usually women notice, but men for sure not. For sure not. Like I know I know myself, like when my wife said, but did you notice? I said, oh, I did not. I apologize. Sorry, but and then I see that she did so much. So and when she tell me all of these things, so I appreciate her even more. So that's the proper thing. So that's how this love develops, right? On these small things. Of course, they're not so small, but the more you learn about HaShem, the more you fall in love. Otherwise, like how can you fall in love if you don't know things? Okay, continue. Similarly, a person seeks to acquire. So next paragraph. Acquire wealth and property. His intent in these endeavors should be to use these resources for the beneficial purposes, so that he will be able to maintain his personal existence. And the purpose of maintaining his existence should be to comprehend and know God for the fullest extent of his capacity. So as usual, let's go from the beginning of the paragraph, and we're going to explain a lot. Again, Rambam in his short paragraphs, he gives so much. So again, similar when a person seeks to acquire wealth and property. Wealth and property, okay. So I mean, again, if it's if it's only the goal is the wealth and property, that's a problem. But if it's for like wealth, so he can work less, for example, right, and property, so he would have a bigger family, and maybe he can have guests, and maybe his elderly mother can live with him, let's say, so he can take care of her, like all of these things. So property, big property, there is nothing wrong with that. So it depends how you're going to use it, right? So it's very interesting. Similarly, when the person seeks to acquire wealth and property, his intent in these endeavors should be to use this resource for beneficial purposes, right? So what will be beneficial purposes? So he wants to have a bigger apartment, let's say. So he has a separate study room, so like kids are not going to bother him every day. Like he can close the door, he can concentrate on things, right? So that's would be for a mitzvah. But if only to show off to people, so it's not a mitzvah, it's opposite. So that he will be able to maintain his personal existence, right? So to have money, there's no problem having money. Like all of these things, they're neutral. It depends how you're going to use them, for good or for bad. If with money, you can do a lot of good with money, and you can do a lot of bad with money. So it depends. Same with the cell phone. Right, some people say like they will break cell phones, so they told me like in smartphone in Yerushalayim, in certain areas that we went. So he said, "How do you cell phone? You normal?" I said, "What's wrong?" No, he said there are people like very zealous, I would say crazy, and they would come and they like take the phone from your hand, like rip the phone from your hand and just smash it on on the ground, and then curse on top of it. You understand? So in their mind, if you have a cell phone, it means that you're watching something inappropriate. But in my mind, I use the cell phone to do the classes. I do the cell phone to talk to people. I do like I use this smartphone to listen to the lecture, to watch the lecture, to share the lectures, to post the lectures online. Like I do so much, like. So it depends. Is cell phone bad? It's not bad. It depends how you use it. Same as here. Wealth is good. Yeah, if you help others, if you help your family, if you spend this money to send your children to the good yeshiva, if you can afford better neighborhood, Jewish neighborhood, so you move, right? Without money, it would be a little harder to move, right? So you can. You can eat like good food on a higher level. Okay, so money is good if you're using it properly. And the purpose of maintaining his existence should be to comprehend, to know God. So again, so all of these goals, it's to comprehend and know God. So now you have a place to live, you have some extra money, so you don't have to worry. Like let's say you don't have such a strong emunah, so at least you have like I don't know 6 months rent that you can, or mortgage, whatever you have to pay in advance, so you feel a little secure. Okay, no problem. You have a job, you have this, you have that. So okay. So, but this must be for the goal to have a peace of mind, if you need that, right? To attach to HaShem. Continue. Next paragraph. In this context, medical knowledge is very important with regard to the personal development, the knowledge of God, personal development, the knowledge of God, and the appreciation of the true happiness. Its study and the practice should be considered a great importance, rather than disparaged and related to the status similar to the weaving or carpentry. Very interesting. The medical knowledge enables us to direct our conduct in a manner that will reflect our human potential and will be directed to personal development and truth. Okay, so let's try to understand what it all says here. Okay, so it's very interesting, very, very interesting. So medical knowledge, all of us have some sort of medical knowledge, right? You're living in this world, you need to have some sort of medical knowledge, what is good for you, what is not good for you. Okay, so let's see. In this context, the medical knowledge is very important with regard to the personal development. So meaning don't do things that are harmful to your body. So for example, some people, and I am one of them, so sometimes I don't have time in a day to complete things, and I cut my sleep, and then the next day I cannot function. So I see that it's damaging to the body, and people can get sick because the immune system becomes weaker. Like, that's a medical knowledge. You don't have to be a big genius because you don't sleep enough. Okay. Okay, so in this, 1 second, so one more time the whole sentence. In this context, medical knowledge is very important with regard to the personal development, the knowledge of God. So personal development, again, for the knowledge of God, and the appreciation of true happiness. So a person, HaShem created this world. It's just like a summary, right? For people to be happy in this world. So if person is depressed, and that's why some people, they're clowns, they take things out of context and they make happiness, like people who dance on the street, right? They say Rabbi Nachman, he never said that. So it's a sin for a Jew to be unhappy, to be sad. On one hand, it is true, but it is taken out of context. You understand? It's not the happiness itself is a goal. Right, but that's what some people make. Right, they say that the main point is to be happy. It's not true. It's not true. You understand? So, and the biggest happiness, the biggest joy in life, as Mizrachi teaches, Rambam teaches us in the beginning, in the very introduction of his great book. So he says very clearly, it's the attachment to HaShem. So if you attach to HaShem, so nothing bothers you. Like you see, it's my Father in heaven. He does whatever he does. He does for my own good. I am trying to understand his wisdom, and that's it. Person is not affected like emotionally or physically with what's going on around him. So that's the true happiness. All other happiness, it's like very temporary, momentarily, and it's like person is going to forget very soon about it. Continue. Its study and practice should be considered a great importance. So meaning we're talking about medicine. Practice should be considered great importance, right? To keep ourselves healthy. Rather than disparaged and relegated to status similar to women and carpentry. Okay, so medicine is more important than women and carpentry. Okay, so because why? Because if you don't weaving, you don't have carpentry. I mean, especially in older days, people doing many things like manually in their house. Okay. For the medical knowledge enables us to direct our conduct in a manner that will reflect our human potential. Okay, so if you know, for example, about sleep, you spoke about sleep. So if you know that according to your body, right? So you need to sleep, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 hours, like unless so there are people they need to sleep minimum 8 hours. If they sleep 7.5, they're dead. So it's like it's very bad. So that's the body. So that they have to sleep 8 hours. That's it. So there is no other way. You understand? So but all of the sleep and all of the things, all of the food. Some people, I know people. Some of my students, they must eat meat every day because of the whatever body requires, not because they're arrogant and this and that. So okay, so I had this talk with the husband. So he thought that his wife is like crazy, like meat is very expensive and she needs for energy. So he was trying to put her on some pills. I say, you normal, like this, all these pills, all this like over the counter, like what is it, these vitamins, they have side effects. You normal, you're going to feed your wife, you just buy her meat. That's what she wants meat. Well, like it makes her healthy. So buy herself meat, her milk. Don't try to save a few dollars. So that's right. So we have to be smart, not cheap. Okay, and right, and we will be directed to personal development and truth. Right. So medical knowledge is very important. It's very important. So you have to understand your own body. Okay, and what it. 1 second, let me check time. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so no questions, so let's continue. So we do next small paragraph. So it says, for when a person approaches the food and eats it because it is tasty, has pleasant aroma, and is deemed desirable, even though it may damage him and possibly cause severe sickness and even death, he and an animal are the same. This is not considered to be an act act performed by man because he is human. It's very politically not correct. Let's see. On the contrary, it is an act performed by a man because he is an animal. To borrow a biblical phrase, he is like the beast and resembles them. It's from Psalms 49 verses 13. Okay, so let's see. Let's go from the beginning and we're going to explain. For when a person approaches food and eats it because it is tasty, right, or it has pleasant aroma, and it is deemed desirable, even though it will damage him. So all of these people, they cannot stop eating. Like on this gathering when they have free food, no, not free. I mean, if you give a gift or your wedding, because so people like stop themselves, like you normal. Why would you eat so much? This food is going to kill you, right? And people they eat because it's tasty, because it's desirable, this and that, because I already paid for, especially on Shabbatons. Like I never go to Shabbatons, of course, but somebody said so. I felt so bad. Like I saw one of my students many years ago. So went and I asked her how was the speeches, how was the rabbis. He said I could not go. So that was the whole purpose. And I said the food was so good on Friday night, not Shabbaton, right? Friday night I ate so much, these ribs and this and that, and I have a stomach problem. You understand? So he was in a bed the whole Shabbos, all Sunday. No, it started like Friday afternoon. So I'm not sure there were probably no speeches. So from after Friday nights, he was in the bed all of the 2 days. Why? Because he ate so much. That's stupidity of the people. You understand? So if he eats because of pleasant aroma, desirable, and even though it may damage him, so all of this high cholesterol, like sugary, all of this like chemical, all of the preservatives, they like processed food. You normal, why you eat? Okay, you can eat a little, but too much. right, and possibly cause a severe sickness. So even though people know there are side effects to this, right? They continue, and even death, right? He's like an animal the same. So all of these animals, like house animals, like cats, right? If you don't like Russian give like special proportions to cat, and they're going to eat all day long, right? And there are cats they overweight, and then they suffer from the why, because they're animals. That's what they're supposed to do, right? They eat seafood, they eat. But for a person to behave like this, it's not normal. It's not normal for a person to be like animal, right? So that's I remember many years ago, Rabbi Zitron said that I'm not sure, somebody asked him about diet or something, and he said the best diet, just put the fork down, don't eat. That's it. Don't eat so much. Eat normally, like cut your portions in I don't know by 30% or so, and you don't eat all the crazy diets that is going to starve you. Continue. This is not considered to be an act performed by a man because he is a human, right? You're human. You have to, as we said, control yourself. So to starve all the time, not good. To overeat, to indulge in all of these foods, not good. But we go in the middle of the road. You eat whatever is good for your health. And if it's tasty, there's the problem. Enjoy the taste. On the contrary, it is an act performed by man, because he's an animal, right? It's very interesting. To borrow a biblical phrase, he is like the beast and resemble them. So, okay, we are like the beast, meaning that we have all of this physical necessity as a beast on one hand. On another hand, we have a godly soul, so we cannot act as a beast. Continue, next paragraph. An expression of our human potential, by contrast, involves seeking only food that is beneficial, choosing that which is not sweet, and rejecting the sweet when doing so is beneficial. Okay, this represents thoughtful conduct. Through such acts, a human being distinguishes himself from other living beings. Similarly, if person engages in sexual relations whenever he desires, without considering the benefit and the possible damage, he's conducting himself like an animal and not like a human being. Okay, so let's try to understand. So this paragraph from the beginning. And it says expression of human potential, by contrast, involves seeking only food for food that is beneficial. So that's why, as we said before, you have intellect, you have to learn the medicine, not deep, but at least to understand. Like the sugar is not, like too much sugar, not good for you. Like they say it's like proven. I don't know, proven 100%, not 100%, but at least it's like the cancer, which is very popular, unfortunately, nowadays, right? It feeds on this sugar. So why would you eat sugar all day long, right? You normal, you just like you're putting yourself in danger, right? As expression of a human potential, by contrast, involves seeking only food for the beneficial. Okay, choosing that which is not sweet and rejecting the sweet when doing so is beneficial. So some people, so they have diabetes. Okay, maybe on the border, right? On the border, a little lower, but they have to be very careful. They even though they want to eat sweet, like don't do it, don't kill yourself. So just because nothing happens right now, it's going to happen. Guess what? It's only a matter of time. This represents the thoughtful act. So if the person have something else to do in his life, like her life, and have these goals to attach to the godliness, so these sweet foods do not bother them very much. Through such acts, human being distinguishes himself from other living beings, right? So animal cannot control. So animals live by instinct. like they eat if they want. If they don't want, they don't eat. That's it. But many animals, like, they always eat, right? So but the human being said, yes, I'm hungry, but the dinner is in 2 hours, so I'm going to eat at dinner, right? And I'm not going to eat 17 snacks until the dinner. Okay. Similarly, if person engages in the sexual relations, whenever he desires, without consideration for the benefit. So also this relations must be. We have the whole teachings of a Rambam about the relationship between husband and wife. It has to be like for recreational purposes. So it's a mitzvah. So you do a mitzvah, you enjoy. There is no problem. Right, or you do for because for pleasing of a wife. Again, there is a mitzvah, right? But it has to be limited, right? And for the health benefit of the husband and stuff like that. But to do over, it's damaging the body. And possible damage, of course. He's conducting himself like an animal. And not like a human being. That's what animals do. The humans, they have to control themselves. Okay, continue. It is. One second, let me see how long. Okay, we're going to the next paragraph. It is possible that the person will conduct himself only according to what is beneficial for his health, as we explained. But this will be self-contained goal. His only concern will be that he is healthy and not affected by disease. This is also not a sign of personal development. For just as one desires, one desires the pleasure and health and well-being, another desires the pleasure and food or sex. None of them represents the true goal for our conduct. Okay, so so all of this pleasure should not be a goal. It's only like some things what we do to maintain the healthy body. But let's see one more time this paragraph from the beginning. It's possible that the person will conduct himself only according to what beneficial for his health. So a person is trying to be healthy. So he eats avocado, all of these, I don't know, salads, I don't know, like all of this healthy, schmancy, this everything is organic and stuff like that, right? So, and but for the soul, there is no problem if it's to keep healthy. If it's not organic, it's going to kill you. This GMO stuff is going to kill you. Okay, eat organic, but you only eat organic because you want to eat healthy, because you want to stay healthy in order to serve HaShem, and in order to learn about HaShem and attach to Him. But for many people, it's became like Judaism is one thing, and this is it's also like almost similar to the health is almost similar to serving HaShem, Chas v'Shalom, as we explained. But this will be self-contained goal. So the only goal for these people is to be healthy. His only concern will be that he is healthy and not affected by disease. So, they would take shots, flu shots, this shot, that shot, and that's it. So, it has nothing to do with HaShem in His service. This is also not a sign of personal development. So, development meaning that you growing up spiritually, right, to the right goal. But he has no spirituality. It's like the animal. For just as one desires the pleasure of health. So, like, and the person enjoys his health, right? He can get up. Some people jogging. They can jog, 10 miles. I don't know, whatever they do, right? So, and they enjoy it. They derive pleasure from this, and health and well-being. Another desires pleasure of food or sex. So, right? None of these represent the true goal for our conduct. Okay, so let me check time. Maybe can stop here. Yeah, we can stop here. This paragraph. Any questions on any topic? Okay, so if no questions, so let's do a little Siddur. As we said, so now Siddur. we're on page 59. So we start a new section with the called Pesuke Dezimrah. So Pesuke Dezimrah, it's very, very important, like a steps like that you need to take in order to say Shema and in order to pray Shemoneh Esrei. So it starts with the blessing Baruch She'amar, right? It's like opening blessing, and you have closing blessing. Let me see, where is it? The closing blessing is Yishtabach, page 83, right? And in between the text of Pesuke Dezimrah, I'm not going to go any further. So, and here's another difference between Ashkenazi custom and Sephardi custom. So Ashkenazi custom is going to say this Baruch She'amar. Baruch She'amar is a translation: "Blessed is he who spoke, and the world came into being." So that's the blessing by Baruch She'amar, right? And the next one, on the next page, give thanks to HaShem, Hodu HaShem. So in Sephardic custom, they would have this Hodu before, like it's going to be the first part, and then would they say Baruch She'amar. So it's like they have their own explanation. Ashkenazim have their own explanation. So all who is right, both of them are right. Okay. So, but we follow an Ashkenazi Siddur. So a person would say this Baruch She'amar, and if man has tzitzis, he wears tzitzis, so he takes the tzitzis in his right hand, right, front ones, right, in praise, right, and then he kisses them and release. So end meaning on page 61, and we go. So this Hodu. And the Psalm on page 65, Mizmar Lesoida. So it's actually it's very important psalm, and if you listen to Rabbi Rubenschlieder, he always say this psalm like when something is good happen in your life, and it says you have to say it while you're standing, right? It's or at least properly to stay while you're standing. So it's when something is good, like unbelievably good. It's happening in your life, you always say this psalm of thanksgiving, right, for whatever HaShem gave you. That's very important. Okay, so then you continue, and you continue, and then you get to page 67, and it's actually the most important part of this Pesuke Dezimrah. So all of these pages, we will not. It's not even in the middle of the Pesuke Dezimrah, but this the praiseworthy are those who dwell in your house, Asher Yoshev Eisecha, right? So it's the main point of this Pesuke Dezimrah, and not only this, but one phrase in this psalm is so critical. So if you did not say it, or you say it without concentration, you have to go to the beginning and say it. So what is it? It's on page 69. It's in the middle, closer to the end, I would say. When you have commentary on the right, so it says, "Open your hand. You open your hand and satisfy the desire of every living being." So and if man wears tefillin, so he touches tefillin on the hand, and kisses. You have this commentary in the Siddur. So it's so important that we, like in the morning, but we say this actually 3 times a day. So it says if you want a good life, just make sure that you say this psalm 3 times a day in prayers. So we say it twice in the Shacharis prayer and once in the Mincha. So we're going to get to it. Okay. So this psalm is so important. Let me explain it to you. So if person does not have time, like very limited time, he came late to the shul, or he's davening at home, overslept, whatever. So he says Baruch She'amar, this opening blessing. He sings this Psalm 145, Ashrei, and then goes to right to the end, Yishtabach, like closing blessing, and he can go or she can go directly to Shema. Okay. So on page 71, I turn the page. So I have all of these psalms. It actually goes from 146, 147, right, 48, 49, and 150. So and this one 150 is very important also. So if you have a little more time, so you would say this 150. So it's Hallelujah, right? And say 150, and it's on page 77. In the part where it starts on 75, and David blessed, Vayvorach David, as HaShem. So and David blessed HaShem in the presence of the entire congregation, right? And there is one very important verse there, where it says, "Wealth and honor come from you, and you rule everything. In your hand is power and strength, and it is your hand that make anyone great or strong." So while we saying these words, we have to, like, it's the custom to give charity, not like small coin, whatever we have, coin, dollar, whatever we give, doesn't matter. So that's appropriate place, because you acknowledge that. Why? What do you acknowledge? That Hashem gives everything. He gives wealth and honor. So and as acknowledgement of that, guess what? I give to charity. Right? He gave to me, and he said I have to give to charity. That's what I do. Okay, so even per person prays at home, you can have some charity box and give put coins in there. There's no problem. Okay, so and this ends on page 83. The Shishtabach. When you do, like in a shul, let's say you're in a synagogue, not during the Shtabach, but between the blessing, first blessing and the last blessing. So you actually can you can answer Amen, you can answer Kaddish, some things, but some things you cannot answer. But after that point, everything becomes much more stricter. So I'm going to leave that after that point for the next time. There's a HaShem when they say Borchu, and to be continued. Okay, that's it. That's it for today. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, no problem. Okay, so we stop here. We continue tomorrow. Our class Kosher Kitchen. Thank you very much, and good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.